You walk into the gym and before you even touch the ball, the judgment hits you. 6-1. It sits there like an invisible label stitched to your jersey, big enough to stand out at school, but never quite big enough to dominate the court. Coaches glance at you, measuring your worth with their eyes, as if your potential could be boiled down to inches and wingspan. Players tower over you with effortless arrogance, their 6'8" frames moving through defenders like bulldozers. But you've never had that luxury. Every basket you've ever scored was earned through grit, not genetics. Every play you've made came from outthinking, out-hustling, and outlasting. No shortcuts, no scouts chasing you down in middle school because of your height. No invitations to elite camps just because you were born long and lean. All you had was the work. And so, you stayed in the gym long after the others left. Not because anyone told you to, not because there were cameras watching, but because you knew that for someone like you, talent was never going to be enough. You mastered the angles, perfected the footwork, learned to disguise your intentions behind layers of misdirection. Where they leapt over defenders, you slipped around them. Where they dunked for the crowd, you finished through contact, silent and relentless. By the time high school rolled around, your game was already polished in ways they couldn't understand. While they relied on their length, you relied on your mind. You saw the floor differently, not as a collection of players, but as moving parts in a system you could manipulate. You were the one setting up the offense, calling out switches, directing traffic like a conductor in the middle of chaos. But no one ever cheered for the conductor. They cheered for the high-flying dunks, the deep threes, the highlight plays that ended up on social media. Not the crisp pass that led to the wide-open shot. Not the rotation you called out that stopped the fast break before it even started. You never expected the applause, though, because for you, the game was never about being seen. It was about being in control. Every practice, you felt that familiar ache, knowing that the 6'5" shooting guard with mediocre handles would get the looks from scouts simply because he fit the mold. Knowing that the post player who couldn't hit a free throw would still get the scholarship offer because of his size. And still, you showed up. Every day, before school, after practice, alone in the gym when the lights buzzed and the floor echoed with the sound of your own footsteps. You ran the same drills over and over, not for the approval of others, but to sharpen the only thing that had ever made you dangerous, your mind. By junior year, you had already made peace with the fact that you would never be the biggest or the flashiest. But you had something they didn't: control under pressure. When the game tightened, when the crowd got loud and the floor started to feel like it was collapsing, that is when you were at your best. Cool, calm, calculated. The one the coach trusted with the final play. Not the star scorer, not the crowd favorite. You. Because while everyone else looked for the moment to shine, you prepared for the moment to lead. But leadership, you learned, is a lonely place. You took the blame for turnovers that weren't yours. You absorbed criticism for plays that fell apart because someone didn't execute the system you designed. And still, you kept coming back. Not because you loved the punishment, but because you loved the process. You loved how the game gave you structure, how it asked more of you every time, how it taught you that being overlooked wasn't a curse, but a challenge. And so, when the recruiters passed you over, when the rankings didn't mention your name, when the mixtapes skipped your assist for someone else's dunk, you didn't break, you just worked harder. Because you knew something they didn't. That the game will always forget the names of those who coasted on talent, but it will remember the ones who refused to quit. The ones who didn't care about what they were given, but about what they built. Now college is on the horizon. The players are bigger, stronger, faster. The game speeds up, the mistakes get more costly, and the room for error shrinks to nothing. Everyone here was the man back home. But you've never been the man. You've always been the one behind the scenes, running the sets, calling the coverages, fixing the breakdowns. And now, in this arena of giants, that mindset is your greatest weapon. Because while they panic under pressure, While they crumble when the easy baskets disappear, you stay steady. You see the traps before they're set. You recognize the defensive rotations before they even happen. You manipulate the tempo to your advantage. They're playing the game, but you're running it. And even now, no one's writing articles about you. The freshman with the bounce gets the headlines. The 6'7" forward with the NBA ready frame gets the scouts. But when it's time for the game-winning possession, when everything is on the line, they give the ball to you. The one who's always known that being underestimated is the greatest gift this game can give you. Because it taught you to outwork everyone. It taught you to outthink them all. And it taught you this, that when the lights are brightest and the pressure is suffocating, it doesn't matter how tall you are, how high you can jump, or how many followers you have. All that matters is that you're ready. And you are. You always have been. The gym is quiet again. The game is over. The crowd has left. You stay. You shoot one more free throw and then another. Because long after the scouts move on to someone else, the work remains. And so do you. Here's a crucial insight for you. Diving into financial education can significantly elevate your quality of life. In the realm of finance, take the time to explore bonds and stocks, with a special emphasis on real estate investment trusts, REITs. These investments have the potential to generate passive income. Approach this journey with diligence and opt for reputable investment brokerages globally. By doing so, you'll be laying a solid foundation for a more secure and prosperous future.